really some of our unsung and unrecognized heroes, the nurses on the front lines. And they've had to do so many jobs, not just through this pandemic, but really every day. And they do it with so much care as well. And helping to get so many people on that career path is Teberah Alexander. She is a nurse and the administrator for Excelling Nursing Academy. Teberah, great to have you with us. How are you today?
I'm amazing. How are you?
Oh, you're just a bundle of energy already.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're excited to have you. And I will say, I know you have a nursing background. Thank you for what you do. We know it's a hard profession. And even before the pandemic, there was a shortage. How hard is it to get qualified nurses right now?
Well, right now it's very hard to get qualified nurses. And also, now it's such a shortage, but they have short programs, so accelerated programs. But to me, we want to make sure we're going into nursing for the right reason. So it's hard, and graduating classes are not as large as they used to be, and it's very competitive to get into nursing school. So I don't think we should only look at grades. We should also look at the clinical side of it too, as well as the theory side. So it's been a challenge, and not only for nurses, but also for certified nursing assistants.
So, what made you want to go into this business? Why do you want to be a nurse?
Well, I wanted to be a nurse because I helped care for my grandparents, been a caregiver for them. My grandfather was a World War II veteran. Grandmother, they were married 55 years, and I was there with them through it all. And I just have that compassion. I help the mothers at the church, the deacons at the church, always helping and giving back. And I just have that compassion to help others.
So, with that, you talked about how competitive it is to get into the nursing programs. Why is that, do you think?
Well, I actually competed with, they said 400 applicants at Michigan State University,
Wow.
and they only selected 65 students, and I think we only graduated like 62 when we completed it. It's just a competitive application process depending on what school you attend, especially if you're in a Big Ten or, a nursing school such as Michigan State University. They have a competitive process. And yes, they are starting to take other ways to, assess their candidates for entrance into their School of Nursing.
So, with that, can you tell us a little bit more about the Excelling Nursing Academy? What do you do there?
Excelling Nursing Academy is my CNA school, one of my many businesses, but I enjoy Excelling Nursing Academy. Here, I actually train students to become certified nursing assistants or nurse aides, and then they are eligible to sit for the state exam with Prometric here in Michigan. And then I've also had some who did travel assignments as well, and they're able to apply in other states for reciprocity, and they can actually see patients there in other states.
I will say, for anyone out there looking for a job where you're always in demand,
Oh,
traveling nurses. We, for years, the person who had our number, our home phone, we're still old people like that, Tyler, and that we still have a house number. And the person before us was a traveling nurse.
mhm.
We still, we're getting like, we're 12 years into this phone number, still getting calls for her to get jobs. We don't know how many times we're like, hey, she doesn't live here anymore. I even tracked her down one time as well. Traveling nurses are so in demand right now. So, why do you think more and more people aren't going into this field then? Is it the work or the hours?
Absolutely. So not only is it competitive for the nursing school, and also to get back on the point of the cause, also CNAs are in need and they're traveling now and picking up travel assignments just like nurses. But it's sometimes we're burned out at the bedside. I mean, sometimes you can get, if you get 8 or 9 patients in a hospital, to be at the bedside, to give the quality, compassionate care that your patients and families deserve at that point, how can you do that for 8 to 10 patients in one setting on one shift? And so therefore we get burned out, overworked. And so, a lot of them are underpaid and underappreciated at times. So it's hard. And then that makes us come away from the bedside and want to go to other areas of nursing. It doesn't mean we don't want to be a nurse or we don't like it, but sometimes we're just not appreciated and we're overworked and burned out.
So, with that, Teberah, when it comes to the nursing academy, how are you trying to prepare some of the students for the realities of what they're going to face on the job?
Well, actually, and a lot of people, I'm glad you asked that because so many people, they'll say, nurses, sometimes I take them into underserved communities, to nursing homes that are very short staffed, who have sometimes patients that are in the, underserved, underprivileged areas where there's not enough supplies, there's not enough staff, so that they understand. And because they have myself or my staff there to assist them, I rather to teach them in those environments so that when they go out on their own, they graduate from my school, they're able to go out and be independent and confident in practicing being a CNA and providing care.
Teberah Alexander with us here on the MegaCast. She's otherwise known as Nurse T. And coming out of the pandemic, because when you mention nursing homes and adult foster daycares, we do know that they've been on the front line of the COVID-19 pandemic. Do you think that's contributing to the shortage as well? Because we know that so many of these places had issues prior to the pandemic.
Absolutely, absolutely. So many people, nursing homes, assisted livings. Now, my adult daycare was open to a certain point, but then we had to close down as well. But the nursing homes were in a shortage, hospitals were short. Actually, I also own caregiving staffing solutions. So that business just skyrocketed because it was such a need for the nurse aides and nursing assistants. So yes, people were not able to get the care that they deserve. You probably seen more wound care, more pressure ulcers and things because patients weren't able to be turned Q2 or every 2 hours like they should. They weren't able to be hydrated like they should. So the skin breakdown was there. We didn't have the proper PPE that we needed to provide the protection that we needed for the staff and the patients or the families. And also social isolation is very, very important, guys, so important. And if you couldn't see your loved ones for a year or through an iPad, how would you feel?
How difficult is it for you to recruit people to go into this industry right now?
Well, into the CNAs, really, I don't want to say it's so much difficult. It can be challenging at times, but because I am who I am, and I love to educate, and I let them know first day of class, if this is not for you, if you don't have the you're not compassionate, sorry, and don't have the compassion for others, please don't do this. You will provide, personal care. You will be helping with oral care, foot care, nail care. I let them know this. And those who want it, they will stay. Those who don't, they will go and, we part ways. But again, they may be good at something else in another area of one of my businesses. It doesn't mean you're a bad person because everybody isn't born to be a caregiver. It's a job.
And we should say with that, Teberah, too, there is such an emotional part to this job. It's not a clock in, clock out job. It pulls at your heartstrings. So how do you try to prepare them and also help them care for their mental stability throughout doing this job? And I mean, it's hard enough outside of a pandemic.
Yes, it is. Actually, I try to teach, and we definitely as nurses as well, empathy. You want to empathize with that patient and that family. Even when you're going through death and dying, empathy is very important. So how we would put ourselves in their shoes, trying to give the patients when they call, I tell the CNAs, don't hesitate to answer the call. Let them know their loved one is stable. She's maybe up in her bed. Of course, a CNA can't give medical information, and we can't go against HIPAA or violate HIPAA. But however, just to let that family know, mom just ate dinner, that reassures the family and let them know your mom is being cared for, or your dad or your uncle or aunt, whoever your loved one may be. Just reassure the family. And also us going home with it. Yes, it can be mentally draining to see someone walking around a couple of weeks ago and, they have COVID and now they're leaving us, and making their transition. That is hard for us. But again, as nurses, we try to keep our spirits up. But again, we do deal with it mentally and emotionally. And sometimes we may have to get a therapist or, a higher being or someone to talk to.
Teberah Alexander with us here on the MegaCast. She's the administrator for the Excelling Nursing Academy. And Nurse T, can I ask you, what's the past year been like for you?
Well, it's been challenging, but again, I can say it bred opportunities for me. It did breed opportunities, seeing that I was able to provide jobs for others. I was able to, educate, equip, and still employ during this time. It did hurt me because with Kathleen's adult daycare, it was sad because when I walk in my office, I always go through the area where the day center is. And I say, hello, everybody. And the seniors are just looking. And it was just dark. It was gloomy. I couldn't see them, but we did take them online and we had tablets for them that they saw us at Kathleen Senior University. But again, it bred opportunities for some of my businesses, and I always try to find the positive in every negative. So it bred opportunities in others, the adult daycare. It was sad, but guess what? It's coming back and we're here.
And we hope so. So many seniors especially need it because when we're talking about a generation, everything was like go online, go online, go online, go online. Everything is about being online. Seniors, a lot of them, I know seniors that aren't online. They still have flip phones. They don't even text. Right. And it's so hard because then when you get them on the phone, they don't want to get off the phone. So you're like, oh, wait, I need time to return that phone call. But with it, so it can add to the level of separation anxiety on both parts as well. But as we're coming out of the pandemic, we are hearing about new programs with the state of Michigan is offering, basically to pay for education for people to go in to some of these industries, including healthcare. But also one of the issues that we hope is going to be addressed is that of child care and senior care. Coming out of the pandemic and all these billions and trillions of dollars being thrown around, what would you like to see happen to attract more people to your industry?
I would definitely like to see them providing funding, scholarships for those who want to go into nursing school or CNA school. Also, I would like to see maybe help with tuition reimbursement. The nurses have loans and they need more nursing professors and instructors. Well, if these nurses go to school and they go for their bachelor's, then their master's, they may need help. So some tuition reimbursement from jobs maybe can increase, or if the state can help with a loan repayment program to help those nurses and those who are on the front line. I think that would help. And also, I can be honest, I have CNAs telling me, Nurse Chi, we make more on unemployment than we do right now working with you all or with any nurse at home. So some of them, it depends on the mentality, they say, well, we might as well stay home and make that money. But again, that's hurting the patients. And I wish somebody would identify that. A lot of people are not on the clinical side, so they're not able to see the lack of care due to the shortage of staff.
Yeah, and we should recognize that those that are on the job, just like so many jobs right now that are short-staffed, have patience and show a little bit of grace towards the individuals. And we do understand, because sometimes if you're making more unemployment, it can cost a lot. If you're working a job, paying childcare, the cost of commuting to and from, because these are not jobs that you're doing remotely. So there are so many factors that go into that. But with that, Teberah, if I can ask you, how can people find out more about the Nursing Academy? How do you figure out who can apply, when, what is the schedule like? What's the program like?
It is Excelling Nursing Academy. We're located in Farmington Hills, Michigan. And our website is excellingnursingacademy.com. Again, that's EXCELLING, nursingacademy.com. We're on Instagram and Facebook under Excelling Nursing Academy. Our number is 248-313-2266. 248-313-2275. And we also, at times, we offer funding for this class. We also have an online portion, but they have to come in class to do their clinicals. You have to do those in the nursing home. So we can actually assist with funding. Sometimes you can finance your classes if you can meet the criteria for the financing. The lenders will loan you that money. This program is 15 days.
15 days. Oh,
Yes.
It's like, that's nothing. It's over in a blink of an eye.
It is. Those 2 weeks go by fast.
So with that, if someone completes this program, does it allow or open up the opportunity for them to put it on their resume and make more per hour? Because if there is a shortage, are you also competing against people just walking in with no experience?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So with this certification you receive, once you successfully pass Excel in Nursing Academy's class, you become a nurse aide. So you receive a certificate stating that you have met the criteria for the state of Michigan proprietary secondary school and that you can now practice as a nurse aide. Then you have 120 days to work on that certificate as a nurse aide, which gives you the opportunity to take your state exam to become certified. So a certified nursing assistant. So you can work on that certificate as a nurse aide. Once you pass that certification in 120 days, you become a certified CNA, and definitely you get an increase in pay. Well, you should.
Exactly, especially now, right?
Right, definitely. And some of them will come over into my staffing agency where I have contracts with various nursing homes in the Tri-County area.
So with that, again, Teberah Alexander with us here on the MegaCast. She's the administrator over at the Excelling Nursing Academy. Anything else maybe I didn't touch on that you want to add before we say goodbye for the day?
Well, actually, it's a growing industry. So you will always have a job. You don't have to worry about that. And not just about money, but just please have that compassion and make sure that you're treating every patient as though they're your parents and grandparents. And I know they told me to mention, yes, we have all of my businesses are called Nurse T's Secret Formula. So I'm excited to announce Nurse T's newest secret formula, Nurse T's Body Bar. The ribbon cutting is next Thursday, July 1st at 3 p.m. at Nurse T's Body Bar, where we'll be doing IV hydration, body contouring, post-op massages for women who have tummy tucks, liposuction, IV hydration where you can get your vitamins. And I just hope everyone can join us at the ribbon cutting in Farmington Hills. And thank you for having me.
I will say, Nurse T, I hope I never need your services, but if I'm ever in the hospital or need a nurse, I want you to be my nurse because you have the best smile and you can just tell you're a happy person.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I try to live stress-free if I can, and I'm happy because those around me, I keep that positive energy around me as well. I don't like that negative energy. So thank you so much. I try, always smiling.
I'm sure your patients absolutely love you as well.
Yes.
Well, we so appreciate your time here today, and good luck on the new business as well. Nurse T's Body Bar that's going to be opening next week in Farmington or Farmington Hills?
It's in Farmington Hills. It's on Northwestern Highway 31410, Northwestern Highway Suite B in Farmington Hills. And the website is NurseTeesBodybar.com, NurseTeesBodybar.com. And even you can come for wellness visits for IV hydration, just getting your vitamins through an IV, or teeth whitening, anything like that.
Everything to make you feel perky and better coming out of the pandemic, because we need a little bit of self-love right now. Nurse T, again, thank you for your time. We so appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.